Dong Dong Tilley!
The story you're about to hear is true. 7 years ago, I took my wife to the Olive Garden restaurant. Now, I don't care for the Olive Garden. They don't have anything there that I like, but my wife liked it, so I took her there. As soon as we got seated, the hostess turned to me and she said, "Are you Jewish?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, really, you look like you could be Jewish." Well, I didn't know where she was going with that, so I threw it back at her. I said, "What about you? Are you Jewish? You look like you could be Jewish." She said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am Jewish." Then she went into a series of questions. Now, has anybody here ever seen the TV series South Park?
Yep.
That little fat kid on there, Eric Cartman, he's all the time talking about the sneaky Jew tricks. This is exactly what he was talking about. Now, I wouldn't call them sneaky Jew tricks. I think that the Jewish people are highly intelligent. They have the ability to ask questions in such a manner that they'll gain more information than the original question implied. That's why they make such terrific lawyers. So with that in mind, she asked me, "When you were a child, what was the very best thing that you ever got for Christmas?" I said, we didn't celebrate Christmas in my house. She said, "Because you're Jewish." I said, "I'm not Jewish." I said, "My family was poor. There were 8 kids in the family, and my parents had decided if they couldn't provide for everyone, they just wouldn't provide for anyone, so we just didn't celebrate Christmas." She said, "I would be willing to bet that at Easter, you eat a nice, thick, juicy slice of ham." I said, "I don't eat ham." She said, "Because you're Jewish." I said, "I'm not Jewish." I said, "My grandmother used to live with us. She was a Seventh-day Adventist. The Seventh-day Adventists have a lot of the same kosher food rules that the Jewish peoples do, and that's why I don't eat ham." She said, "There are several items on the menu this evening that are only $5. Now remember, this was 7 years ago. She said, "I only brought $5 with me because I like one of those items in particular. How much money did you bring with you this evening?" I was about ready to tell her it was none of her damn business, but again, I didn't know where she was going with it, so I said, $37.82. She said, "Really? The only persons I have ever known who could tell me how much money they had on them at any given time, right down to the 82 cents, are Jewish." I said, "I'm not Jewish." I said, I don't have very much money, so it's easy for me to keep track of how little I have." She said, "Have you been to the Jewish church here in town?" I said, "You mean the synagogue?" She said, "Did the priest make you wear one of them little beanies on your head?" I said, "You mean the rabbi, and the little beanie's called a yarmulke, and no, I have never been there because I am not Jewish." She said, "Well, Mr. I am not Jewish, you certainly know an awful lot about Jewish traditions for somebody who says he is not Jewish." I said, "Look, do I have to show you my uncircumcised penis? Because I'm pretty sure that disqualifies me from being Jewish." She said, "No, that will not be necessary. But remember, you did recognize me as being Jewish, and it takes one to know one." Then she walked off. It was at that point that I realized some guy had been staring at me the whole time, so I asked my wife, "Why is that gay Asian guy staring at me?" She says, "I don't know, maybe he thinks you're gay." I said, "What? Why would you even say that?" She said, "Well, it takes one to know one, and no one's ever going to mistake you for being Asian." I'm Phil Tilley, the Bullshit King. You guys are a great audience.